So today we are talking about precision flying on the DJI Mini 3 Pro. So first of all, I've got the DJI Avata in the air to scout out what couldn't have been a better location. This is called Cathedral Caves, and it's going to be the area we're going to be discussing today. So first of all, using the FPV drone to try and find it, because it's not the easiest to find. So as I'm flying pretty high, I noticed it through my goggles, and this is going to be it. This is going to be the old quarry, and the main chamber is 40 foot high, basically hole in the ground there. That's what we're going to be focusing on today. So with the delight of finding that, I'm going to land the DJI Avata because I don't want to crash that again just yet. So I'm going to move over to the Mini 3 Pro. And once you've got the fundamentals of this technique, you can do this on any drone. First of all, this is a great opportunity to practice my Cobra Kai skills ready for the new season. And firstly, when you do get to any cave, you need to make sure that it's actually going to be able to fit your drone. Otherwise, there's no point even going in there. It did, so that's great. And this is what we notice inside this awesome old quarry with these two windows at the top, one of them being 40 foot high. So how are we going to fly through this and get the drone through there? Well, let's see how it does. And the main challenge to doing this indoors is that there's going to be no GPS signal. And we're going to talk to you about afterwards how I do it. I'm going to show you first the cinematic video of it flying through here and hopefully not crashing. Then afterwards I'm going to come back to this location and then show you via the screen recording about just exactly what you have to do within the settings and how to achieve this and how to do this in maybe easier locations. So I'm going to get it set up here just so I can get a bit of a run. Then I'm going to go around me and then go straight through that hole. Wish me luck. Here we go. Alrighty, so I hope you enjoyed that. That came out really well. What an absolutely awesome location. I love these natural landscapes that you can come across on your travels. Right, firstly, safety. What you need to do is your obstacle avoidance on the Mini 3, you need to turn that off altogether. You don't want it to be on bypass because as it goes through, say there, that gap or any gap, and there is something like maybe a branch or brick or an object at the side of it, it will probably swerve and then hit that. So you want it to be off altogether. You don't want any risk of your drone colliding through something. This is all on you. This is precision flying on the pilot. At the very bottom, advanced safety settings, click on that and you want to change it from return to home to hover. So what you don't want to do is have it return to home. So say this signal disconnects for some reason. If I'm in a cave like this now and it returns to home, it might actually then start to increase the altitude to say 50 or 60 meters and then crash instantly. So if that signal disconnects, I want it to hover so I can then get into a better position and then manually control that drone back to me. The emphasis of this is manual. This is manual flying, precision flying. It's all on you, this. So you don't want a lot of help through the drone. You want to make sure that your picture quality as well is set accordingly as well to get the best possible quality. So 4K 30, 4K 25 is what you're going to want for this. And then you need to make sure as well that you're not going to have any kind of assistance. So you can see here the ambient light being low because I'm indoors. the sensors aren't going to work anyway, but I don't want them to come on, so make sure they are turned off. Also, your camera, make sure as well, if you're going to be going from something like this indoors, so there's going to be a change in lighting, your white balance is set to auto. Otherwise, your video at some point when you're going through that hole, so like me, if I'm going from dark to bright, the white balance is going to be all over the place if it's set to manual. So set it set to auto, let the drone do that for you. And grid lines certainly help with precision flying going through small gaps. So make sure you've got your grid lines on. I would have them all on, or maybe just 1 or 2 on when going through a small gap. You can always turn them off afterwards when you've actually accomplished what you're trying to fly through. Once you've done all that, you need to make sure that that's done, then we can carry on. So you can see now I'm flying in cine mode here. I want everything to be nice and slow. And I'm just going to continue rising at a consistent pace here. Now, as you'll notice here, I've got no satellites, no GPS whatsoever. So I need to be careful here. And you also need to be careful and make sure that you can see that drone fully yourself. So right now I'm hardly looking at the screen at all, I'm just focusing on that drone as it's climbing here. Now the problem comes that you'll notice is when you don't have any signal like this, you are limited to 30 meters altitude. So I knew that the drone was going to stop at 30 meters. So what I would do then in the editor is make sure that you don't see any of this. So as I've now been increasing altitude, I'm increasing the gimbal as well, so it points up to the sky. I can now just hover in place or turn around ready for the next shot. And whilst it's doing that, which doesn't take long, literally about 10 seconds, you can see that my satellites have gone from 0 to 8 and then will then jump up again quite dramatically, and then I will have full GPS lock. So don't be too afraid about that. So now I've got 18 satellites, my home point's been updated, I can then continue, and through the magic of editing you don't see any of that because all that is cut out. Now the tricky bit, this takes a lot of practice. I'm now flying upwards and backwards at the same time. Now I can see the drone clearly, I'm not looking at my screen at all, so I know it's missing these trees. It gives the illusion that I'm really close to them. I'm fairly close, but I'm not like really close. It creates that illusion through the drone that you are closer than it appears. As long as you can physically see it yourself, you're all over this. I have complete confidence in you. And now that's it basically, and come back the same way. So now I'm flying downwards, keeping it nice and controlled in cine mode at a consistent decrease in altitude, nothing too mental at all, just nice and smooth, and then straight back to me. So this takes a lot of practice, but once you've got it, this is an awesome shot to do, and you can do this all over the place. At the top of these caves as well, it was a fantastic area to play with the DJI Avata, skimming in and out of these trees, practicing with that. Precision flying again through FPV drones are awesome. This is what these drones are made of, especially the Avata drone. The Mini 3 not so much, it takes more practice. So go and find some gaps in trees like this, put it in cine mode, take care of some of these tips I've shown you today, write them down, go and practice, and don't be afraid of actually having a go. You'll find you're doing this more and more, and you'll notice a gap in a tree and be like, where's the drone? I need to go and fly this. And then practice flying backwards through it. Takes confidence, take some risks, but sometimes the greatest risks will bring you the greatest rewards. I hope you enjoyed that, guys. See you on the next one.